Hi, everybody. I hope you're having a great day. You've probably seen some of my podcasts over the last couple of weeks, and I've had some wonderful feedback, some great conversations, and I'm honored that you would spend some time watching them. Today, you're going to hear from me. Now, on my podcast, Sam's Healing Podcast, you're going to hear from great clinicians, friends, survivors of infidelity. I'm confident it's going to be well worth your time. I've been taken back by so many heartwarming messages that I've received and awesome comments as well. So thank you for that. But you're also going to hear from me quite often. And today I want to talk to you about how bad we are at apologizing. Now, you don't have to be going through infidelity or addiction. You don't have to be trying to save your marriage to learn that you're a bad apologizer. Some people actually are non apologizers. Like for them to say they're sorry has to be this monumental, miraculous situation for them to say that they're sorry. But for those of you that are dealing with infidelity, for those of you that are dealing with maybe the restoration of your relationship, if you can't apologize, and if you can't do it in a heartfelt way, if you can't do it in a kind way, if you can't do it in a redemptive, reconciliatory way, I promise you, your story is going to be more challenging than it needs to be. Your relationship is going to suffer immensely. I can't think of anybody I'm in relationship with, kids, family members, people that I work with, kids that I coach, clients that I coach. I can't think of anybody that I haven't had to apologize for something. Could be significant, it could be very small. But some people, to get them to apologize is a monumental task. How about these apologies? You'll get people that are like, I'm sorry if you're upset. What? You're sorry if I'm upset? I'm upset. You should be sorry, right? How about, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. Hey, genius, you hurt my feelings. I'm upset. Let's do this right. The whole if thing circumvents the entire process. How about, I'm sorry. What else do you want? How about some empathy, compassion? I'll even take sympathy, but something that communicates that you're actually sorry or apologetic about what you've done. Now, if you do enter the room of infidelity or addiction or betrayal or even significant rupture, there's a few things that an apology, I think, should be. Number one is it should be reconciliatory. It should bring reconciliation. It shouldn't be just to pacify your partner. Like, dude, I'm sorry. Can we just get over it now? Oh my gosh, I feel so much compassion and mercy. I just want to ride off into the sunset with you. I want to be sexual with you. I just want to go have a great time because that was so heartfelt and compassionate. It has to be humble. There should be a degree of humility within a good apology. It should convey that you are owning your behavior that has obviously wounded them. It should also not be a one stop shop. I'm sorry. I said I was sorry. Can we just stop? No, it's not a one stop shop. It is, I'm sorry for, and we'll talk more about it. I think a good apology should also be kind and loving. The problem is we get so full of shame. We get so full of inner turmoil. We are enveloped by shame, which shame always says we are always bad, or we are all bad, or that we are one down from our partner. Shame says I am somebody bad rather than I have done something bad. As long as we are in shame, we are focused on us. As long as we are in shame, we are pushing the people that we love away. As long as we are in shame, we're thinking more about our feelings, our emotions, our pain, our hurt, our trauma, our past than we are about our partners. And as long as we are stuck in shame, we really keep the people that we care most about away from us. We push away the people that we so desperately need and want in our lives, and we so desperately need and want to be reconciled with. And as long as we continue to do that, we're going to struggle, we're going to suffer, and then our partner will typically believe that every time we do something wrong, we're going to make it about us, so that when our partner comes to the table, they're going to have their guard up. They're going to be like, oh gosh, I'm trying to get him to apologize. This is going to be a nightmare. And so we alienate the people that we so desperately love, and we wonder why. Now, why are we so bad at apologizing? I'm going to give you some reasons, and I think they are valid. I do. But just because there's valid reasons why we are bad at apologies doesn't mean that it's justifiable. It doesn't mean that it's okay. It doesn't mean that, oh, this and this and this happened to you, so it's okay that you're bad at apologizing. No. You might be bad at it, but you can get better at it. There's so many resources out there, but I hope that this will be a resource for those of you that have been following me for weeks or months or even years. And I hope that this will help you. One of the reasons we're so bad at apologies is that they weren't modeled for us, or bad apologies were modeled for us. We weren't involved in an environment where there was kindness and love and respect or self-respect, and there wasn't deference where we defer to each other. There wasn't compassion. It was kind of like, look, I said I'm sorry. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Have you heard that one? Ooh, yeah. Let's all take a deep breath, because I'm sorry. I said I was sorry. I don't want to talk about it anymore is not reconciliatory, not safe, not kind, not loving, not redemptive, and quite honestly, is really not even helpful. Ask a betrayed partner, ask an offended or hurt partner if that type of an apology helps them. Ask them. If you're watching it together as a couple, look at them, pause it, and say, hey, how do you feel when I say, I'm sorry, now we've talked about it, I don't want to talk about it anymore? They feel rejected, they feel demeaned, they feel devalued, they feel controlled, they feel alienated, and quite honestly, they feel squashed. Like, hey, you don't get to have feelings. You don't get to have emotions. You don't get to be a human being. You get to be under my control. But I digress. Again, it wasn't modeled for us, or it was modeled so awfully that we just have no idea how to apologize. Number two is, I think that we really get afraid. We don't know how to apologize because we're afraid that if we own any guilt, that it's going to be used against us. That's not an indictment on the person that we're apologizing to. No, no, no. If you heard that, Sam, are you? No, no, no. What I'm saying is, we, because of our own trauma, our own unmet childhood needs, we feel like if we apologize, we're surrendering power. And because when we were young, if we apologized, we were surrendering power, and that was used against us. So we have this lie inside our brains, our trauma experience, our childhood experience, that if we apologize, it's going to be used against us. Sad, yes. Just full of grief for that. Absolutely. Does that mean that we should not learn how to apologize? No. Does that justify not apologizing? No. It speaks to the fact that what an awful experience as a little person, but you're no longer that little person. You are an adult who can show up for your partner, especially if you are the offending party trying to reconcile with your partner. Next, this one's a little bit tougher. We don't have the ego strength to apologize, meaning we have built this facade that we're never wrong. We're always right. and it's your fault that you misheard me or misinterpreted what I said, or you just really are you just, it's your fault, not mine. We can't fathom that maybe we're wrong. We have limited ego strength, like you've heard on some of my other videos about narcissistic supply. We need our partner to see us perfect because that makes us feel perfect. So to admit that we're wrong, or to admit that we actually did hurt our partner, no, can't handle that, because quite honestly, we're fragile. No, we like to put on the mystique that we are strong and we are confident and we are awesome and we can do anything. But deep inside, we're terrified of admitting responsibility because we don't know how to handle it. We don't know how to be wrong. We don't know how to own our mistakes and apologize from an authentic way, because we were taught, or it was modeled, that once you apologize, you never talk about it ever again. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. One of the biggest things I learned when I was young, I grew up in a very stressful, hostile, um, dysregulated, insecure environment. My apologies were like, I'm sorry. I don't know what else to do. I'm sorry. Like that sullen, defensive apology. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what was being modeled for me. I've had to learn how to apologize. I think I'm pretty good at apologizing. You want to know why I'm good at apologizing? Because I've messed up so many times and I've had to learn how to be a good apologizer. So if you need help apologizing, I think I do a pretty good job. I can help you with it. Next is, this is super practical. We're lazy. We just feel like, hey, I said I was sorry. That might work to somebody on the road or somebody walking into a restaurant, bumped. Hey, sorry, you got a problem, whatever, get over it. I know none of you have ever done that, but we can be like that, right? That might work to someone on the street. It's not going to work to your partner, your significant other, your child, anybody that you love significantly. They are worth the effort to apologize and reconcile. But throwing out these haphazard apologies, and then you wonder why they don't feel close to you. And then you wonder why they get the message that they are dirt to you, and that they are less than you, and that they are always one down from you. That might feel pretty powerful until you need them to reconcile with you and they treat you the way you've treated them. And you go, that's a terrible apology. Where did they learn it from? Next, I think we just get really entitled. We take people for granted, and we become entitled people. I heard a guy the other day say something that was pretty phenomenal. I heard it years and years ago, but he said it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember that. He said, maybe porn isn't your problem. Maybe entitlement is your problem. I thought, that's interesting. Remember back in the day, we used to edit that stuff out, but you get the real Sam now. Maybe it is entitlement. Maybe that's part of your problem. I'm certainly not going to oversimplify an addiction with entitlement, but it's worth thinking about. Also, perhaps we have this entitlement that we should just be forgiven. Well, I make the money, I pay the bills, I raise the kids, I do so much. You should just get over it. And that speaks to the fact of how disconnected we are with our own life and with the people that are around us. Another reason that our apologies are so bad is that we are disconnected. If we are not kind to ourselves, we're probably not going to be super kind to other people. If we don't love ourselves, we're probably not going to be super good at loving other people. And if we're just not self-aware, it's going to be really hard for us to be aware of how we are affecting other people, how our choices have affected other people, how our decisions, our addictions, our infidelity, our raging, what have you, If we are not self aware, if we're not connected with ourselves, how can we own our behavior and communicate it to our loved ones in a way that's safe, reconciliatory, and ultimately brings restoration? And I hope that this can help both of you today, whether you're dealing with infidelity, unfaithful or betrayed, whether you're trying to just heal yourself as a result of someone else's decisions. If you've ever encountered a really good apology, something about it ministers to your heart if you come from faith. Something about it calms you. Something about it makes you feel valuable, listened to, empathized with, cared for, understood, cared about. Something about a good apology makes you feel like, okay, some might even say justice. You know, they did me wrong, but they owned it. It kind of helps a little bit. A good apology, I've noticed in my own life, a good apology makes me want to stop ranting about my hurt and kind of go, okay, I think they get it. Because we can tell if you get it or not by how you apologize. If you apologize like an ass, you don't get it. So that's why so many times the betrayed is like, and this, and this, and this, and I want to talk about this, and this, and this, because your apology as an unfaithful kind of communicates you don't get it. So you wonder why they keep writing you or keep talking about something, because sometimes, not all the time, sometimes they're just wanting you to get it. And then you don't get it. So then they're trying to make you get it. And that's a whole nother blog. A few years ago, I was talking to a woman. I was in an investment deal and they dropped the ball. She called me. I was really upset. And she said, Sam, I get it. Listen, you should have had this, this, and this. I get it. I'm sorry. I was like, whoa, that was really good. And then I said, right, but then we have this other piece. And she said, Sam, I told you I get it. I said I was sorry, I get it. I'm like, whoa, hey, we were doing great, but we still have these fees that I'm having to pick up the bill for that are unjustified. Sam, listen, I don't need you to beat a dead horse. It was at that point that I thought, you've had apology training, but this isn't authentic. This isn't from the heart. This is, you learned this through HR. You took a course, you went to a training session. You learned how to say the words, but you're really not sorry because I still have all of this money that I'm being penalized from this investment deal. And you don't seem to care about that. And I wasn't harping on her. I was just like, okay, thank you. But what about this? Sam, look, I told you I was sorry. And you just, no, hold on. This is a very wide ranging problem that we have here. So as I land the plane of our conversation today, if it's not authentic, your spouse or partner may go, you kind of read this stuff, didn't you? Or you watched a video from Sam, didn't you? Make it authentic. Really chew on these things. Really chew on, was it modeled? What was modeled for you? Do you really see what your choices have done? If you don't, what might sound good is, hey, I'm sorry for how I have hurt you. I need some time to ponder this. I want to keep talking about this because I really want to get it. Like, I want to understand what you felt when I said this. We've kind of been talking a while. Let's kind of take a time out. But I want to talk about this again later tonight or tomorrow because I care about you and I really want to own this. But I think we're going to start flooding, circling the drain, and I don't want to do that. But I am sorry for how I have definitely hurt you and wounded you. You might try something like this. So I don't totally get this. I don't fully understand everything. I can tell by your reaction, I have hurt you and wounded you, and you feel awful. I feel awful. And so I'm really sorry. I see some things differently, but that really doesn't matter. What matters is you are upset, you are hurt, you are wounded, and I did it knowingly or not unknowingly. And at the end of the day, I still am sorry. I don't need to ask you to forgive me yet. See, we want to say, you should just, okay, I hope you can forgive me. And they may go, I don't know if I can yet. What? I just apologized. How can you not forgive me? Yeah, because it takes time to process. Do you want a cheap statement of forgiveness, or do you want them to really mean it? Because if you want a cheap statement, it's only going to come back to bite you when you do something else and upset them and hurt them and wound them again, because they didn't really have a chance to really fully forgive you. So now you're going to get twice as much anger and hurt and bitterness and rage from them when you do this again, because you're probably not perfect. Hopefully, not have another affair or addiction or what have you, a relapse, but you get what I'm saying. So making them forgive you right on the spot is controlling and destructive. Giving them the space to forgive you when and if they can is powerful. It says you have a choice. You have time. You have space. You deserve the right and authority to take time. I said that weird. You have the right and authority to take that time and forgive me if and when it works for you. I hope that I can be safe for you. I hope that I can repair this. I hope that I can be someone that you can trust again one day. I hope that you will keep talking to me about this, because I'm committed to finding out why I have hurt you. My shame is not what's most important. What's most important is reconciliation, kindness, me owning my behavior and helping you feel loved and cared for by me. I hope you've enjoyed this today. There's a few other videos on my podcast. You can find it at Sam's Healing Podcast on YouTube. You can search that right in the space bar or search bar on YouTube, and you'll find it easily. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me at samshealingpodcast@gmail.com. I don't do any type of coaching or counseling through email. If you want to inquire about a session, by all means, reach out. I'd be happy to see how I can help you. But I'm not able to do this kind of coaching, counseling thing over email. It's just too difficult. But you're welcome to ask me about a session and go from there. Have a great day. Practice apologizing. Maybe do some reconnaissance and find out why you're bad at it. If you're good at it, ask your spouse, hey, I'm different than Sam's video. Why am I good at apologizing? Maybe ask your spouse, hey, or ask your partner, what can I do to apologize better? Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in.